Welcome back to Seriously Funny. I'm your host, Mashnur Kabir, and I started the first Thanksgiving. This week, we pull from my blog and my two posts talking about gratefulness, and although I've talked a little bit about gratefulness in my episode called The Fairies We Don't See, I'm all about recycling content here. So we're going to go ahead and talk about gratefulness. And so last week, I said I was recording a video, and I did, but I didn't like the way it worked, and I found a much better way to prop my phone up and record like this, which I could have done all along, but I guess my creativity wasn't there until right now. And so this week, you will see the first video podcast. And also on the YouTube channel, there's just no episode 78, I think it was last week. So that's an audio exclusive, I guess. But this one, here we are on the iPhone. MacBook is recording there, and that's probably the audio I use for the YouTube. Maybe I'll use it for the podcast. I have to compare and see which one, how they each sound, and we'll see how that goes later. That's not your problem. Anyways, today we talk about gratefulness. I hope your Thanksgiving was great, and now we can go ahead and jump into this. And first, now with the video, you can see my caramel iced latte. Absolutely incredible. Now, I thought I would go ahead and also for the video, my script is right there, right next to me. I don't know what my face looks like, so I might be looking this way, not really into the camera the entire time. But yeah, I thought I'd go ahead and talk about the history of Thanksgiving, how it started, how we got here. First, there were Puritans that came to America because they thought that the English Protestant church was a little bit too Catholic-y, and they wanted to have a more Protestant practice, and so they wound up colonizing New England to get away from just for more religious freedom, which is one of the things this country was obviously built upon. And I talk about them first so that we don't get them mixed up with the Pilgrims, who also didn't really like the rule of the church in England, but they were even more extreme than the Puritans, and they wanted even more Protestant-y practices. And first they tried to go to the Netherlands, but they didn't like it much there, so they decided to go to the new lands, the Americas, and build a new colony to start fresh from there. And so they did that from the Netherlands. And initially they planned to sail over to Virginia, but due to a bunch of wind — I hate wind, wind sucks, and these Pilgrims were going to hate the wind too. The wind blew them off course, and they ended up landing in Plymouth, Massachusetts. On the ship, they signed the Mayflower contract, and it's a pretty big deal since it was the first legal contract signed in the Americas, but whatever, who cares about history? I'm an engineer. I don't know anything about history, but they all bound themselves to follow, quote, just and equal, end quote, laws, and that would be made by their representatives. Those laws would. I really wish that they kept that up when the slave thing happened, but the Pilgrims didn't end up with great luck either. 6 weeks after landing in Massachusetts, and it sounds like a long time, 6 weeks, but remember, this is way back when they were colonizing, so they had to build all their houses and everything. There was no infrastructure. They were pretty busy setting things up, so 6 weeks wasn't that much time. And in their great wisdom, they didn't bring any livestock or enough food, and so half of them died before the winter finished. Yeah, it happens. And they didn't all die because of a tribe of natives led by Squanto, who gave them food and spared the other half from dying too. The Pilgrims continued to be grateful to the natives since another local chief, Massasoiton, helped teach them about planting corn and where to catch fish and overall not die. Yeah, pretty important when you're colonizing. And one day we'll be colonizing Mars and outer space, and that's going to be absolutely incredible. What a good time that'll be. I hope I'm alive for that. But, although it's skipping too far here. So yeah, they didn't all die because shout out to the Native Americans. Anyone who calls them Indians, no, Native Americans. But although it's controversial for the exact date, it was on the fourth Thursday in November that the Pilgrims, being very grateful, held a great feast that you now have every year on the fourth Thursday of November, where your Uncle Joe won't stop talking about how the government is watching his house due to his incredible collection of beans. Yeah, maybe the natives should have left the Pilgrims, but especially considering that all of the natives got sick and died because disease kind of sucks. But yeah, get vaccinated. Moral of the story, I guess. Jokes aside, it really does suck. So many natives really did die because of sickness, and I wonder why it mostly went from the colonists to the natives and it didn't spread as much the other way. I think malaria got a lot of the colonists actually, but that was from mosquitoes, not from the natives. I don't know, whatever. That's some epidemiology, I guess. Anyways, that's enough history for now until one day I bless you with some World War II stories. There are some crazy ones in World War II. Winston Churchill, he was a cool guy, but now we actually get into what this podcast episode is about: gratefulness. And me being the pretentious a-hole I am, of course, I'm going to tell you that what you should all be grateful for. I'm going to give you a nice, easy, simple list because I treat everyone I talk to like they're 5. So what should you be grateful for? Well, that's easy. This podcast. Be grateful for my voice. That's about it. I mean, I could just end it there. Yeah, I could just end this one here. But what else is important, really, other than my podcast? But other than that, if maybe you should have something that you should be grateful for, other than this every Friday at 8 a.m. EST, in my blog post, I think I hit a pretty good few points. I hit a good few points. I don't know what I was writing here. I think I hit a good few points: people, stuff, and situations. In my blog post, I also said yourself, but I'm throwing that one away. What does it even mean to be grateful for yourself? Looking at my old writings and old stuff is horrible because I get that I'm in the self-help category, but the fact that I actually sounded like one of those self-help quote just be better lol end quote people is just the most cringe thing ever. But I guess in a year I'll look back at myself right now and think that I'm stupid, so screw me, I guess. There's no winning. But anyways, people, be grateful for the people in your life, all of them, the ones you love, the ones you like, the ones you have, the ones you don't like, all of them. Why should you be grateful for the people you don't like? I have no idea, but it sounds like something that the self-help losers would say, and I need a reason to call myself stupid in a year. Aside from that, I don't know. Being grateful for the people you don't like will ruin your day a little. And I think that's funny, maybe, I guess. That's a pretty good reason. But other than that, why not? When you're thinking about what you're grateful for, you're either in a super good mood or a super bad mood. If you're in a super good mood, thinking about people that you hate might make you hate them less. Who knows? And hate is bad for you overall. You can forget someone a lot easier if you don't apply any value, neither positive nor negative value to them. And if you're in a super bad mood, then maybe thinking about the people you hate will shift your anger. That's probably not good though, so I don't know. All right, I don't know, but calm down, stop hating people. Forehead, different episode, we'll save it. Good God. The next thing is objects. This one really cut, dry, and simple. You have stuff. Be grateful for the fact that you have stuff. Food is cool. My MacBook is cool. Phone is cool. Microphone. Yeah, this looks pretty cool. But yeah, I love my books that you can't see over there. Yeah, I love my noise canceling headphones. Indoor plumbing is pretty awesome. Etika. So great. And the G Fuel tubs that this phone is sitting on top of, also great. But yeah, you get it. Lastly, situations. This one is a bit fun and a bit nuanced to talk about because for this one, the idea of being grateful for bad situations, similar to being grateful for the people you don't like, is interesting. Because you don't know the future, I said that should be its own sentence. I don't know how to talk. Because you don't know the future. Is this a situation that sucks now, but it'll be great, like a great learning experience for you in the future? Or is this a situation genuinely that's going to be bad for you and just make things worse and everything's going to suck? I don't know, and you don't know, probably. No one knows, I guess. I wrote in my blog post that you should be, because again, self-help garbage in every situation can be climbed out of with sheer willpower, which isn't completely true. I do think it's possible to be grateful for everything, but we'll talk about that in a minute. I'm not sure if you should be grateful for the negative situations you're in. You can be if you want. Your call, I guess. The other thing that I want to talk about is being grateful for the things you don't have. This is extremely, extremely overlooked, in my opinion. If you don't have cancer, you should be grateful that you don't have cancer. If you don't have COVID or AIDS, you should be grateful that you don't have COVID or AIDS. These are things that I think people miss when they think about being grateful. Remembering the things that you don't have that you should sometimes also be grateful for, because you don't want everything. And not everything is great. Also, before I end this section, I already talked about it in the fairies we don't see, but be grateful for the things you don't know until you lose it. Also, before I end this section, I already talked about it in the fairies we don't see, but be grateful for the things you don't know you have, because, yeah, sometimes you don't know what you have until you lose it. That's not always true, but it's pretty true. I didn't know how much I liked having my taskbar show up on my second monitor until I updated to Windows 11, and now my taskbar won't show up on my second monitor. It is very not fun. Now I'm spiteful instead of grateful. Don't be like me and maybe wait to upgrade to Windows 11 if you auto-hide your taskbar, or you have multiple monitors. Who knows? But the last thing I want to talk about, second to last, the last thing I want to talk about is the idea of Thanksgiving being the day that we are grateful. I think if you read my blog post on the topic, I said that's horrible, but I think it's pretty great that we have one day in the year that we can sit down and really be thankful and grateful for the things we do and don't have. In my blog post, I just blanket statement said, no, you should be grateful all the effing time. To be honest, we're busy, and I don't know if I should say, quote, you should remember the things you're grateful for all the time, you spoiled brat, end quote. Maybe you should. Maybe you really should take 30 minutes every day just to be grateful for all the things we talked about a minute ago. But I feel like being older and realizing life isn't as serious as I once thought it was, I think that we can just be human and go about our lives, and instead of sitting down every day for 3 hours and writing down everything you're grateful for, that excludes the practice of writing down 3 good things per day, because I'm a super, super ultra component of that one. So you should do that. I'm a huge supporter there, but that actually gives me a great idea for an episode on how to feel better, expect that at some point, or don't actually. When was the last time I ever kept a promise to you? Yeah, so unlike I started talking about gratefulness, I'm not going to tell you how often or what to be grateful for legitimately. This podcast, if you want to, that would be sick. But no, it wouldn't. As long as you listen, I don't care what you do. But I ain't gonna stop you if you want to just sit down and be grateful for things for 30 minutes every day. I'm not gonna say anything. So who am I? The last section that I'll give you here is the enlightenment section. We had that episode on how not everyone should be a monk, but if that's a life that you are interested in, the whole enlightenment thing and the whole what's it like for someone that's in a different state of existence, I don't know what to call it. If that's what you're interested in, here's how that would kind of play out, at least to my understanding. I don't know it. I'm not enlightened, and I haven't sat there and studied. I've studied, I guess, for years, but to a different extent. I haven't gone to a bunch of monasteries and ashrams and whatever. Gratefulness is something that you both have a ton of and none of. actually, when you're enlightened or as a monk. You're always grateful and you're never grateful. And in enlightenment fashion, it's super contradictory and super strange. But the thing about being constantly present and always being within right now is that idea of being grateful isn't something that happens in the present. It's a cognitive process of considering the past and the future and some of the present. But the no mind state that enlightenment entails means you don't really do the whole gratefulness. Your mind is what you need to be grateful, but without it, how do you do that? Moreover, the idea there's something that has a value that is worth being grateful for doesn't really happen in the enlightenment thing. All things are equal, so in that sense they are both grateful for everything and not grateful for anything. Everything is the same because there is no good and bad. There is no good situation, no bad situation. You don't have anything good or anything bad, you just have. And that in itself is neither good nor bad, it just is. So by that sense, you wouldn't be grateful for everything at all times. Good luck wrapping your head around that one. I can barely do it myself. But that's all for this episode. I hope that you had a great Thanksgiving. When you're listening to this, I've been through my first week of school back from Thanksgiving break, which sucks. Over break, I didn't get to play Genshin Impact. I have not loaded the game up once, and it's super sad. I didn't get to watch a crap ton of anime, but I think yesterday I watched a lot. Today I did. I'm gonna finish the one I started, which I'll talk about in a second. I had to finish 2 projects, 1.5 labs, and I need to start a homework assignment, which I started yesterday. I do record and edit a YouTube video that goes up when I'm recording this today at 12 o'clock p.m., so it's already up when this is up on the Mashnor Kabir YouTube channel. If I remember, I'll link it in the description here. But yeah, that'll go up. And this video podcast, I don't know if it'll go up on Friday at 8 a.m. If I'm lazy, it might be like Tuesday or something. Maybe I'll split the audio and the video release up a bit. Actually, that's a very good idea. I am gonna do that. I think it would be better to release this on Monday, maybe. Yeah, I think I will release this video version on Monday. So you will see me on Monday. Hopefully you go hear me on Friday, because I make money when you go listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. I don't make money at the moment if you watch this video on YouTube. So I would generally push you to go listen on the audio side. But if you want it here, you get it here. My end goal really is just to talk to you and spread a message, so no problem. I did record and edit that though, and I finished the thumbnail yesterday. That took a while because it's first time editing picture hard, and the moment is, I finished the script and then I went and took my thumbnail. It was pretty great. One of the projects that I had to do was a total of about like 7 lines. This is really weird because it would look like it looks normal this way, but this is how I would do it. Weird. Anyways, it was about like 7 lines, and it took me around like 10 hours, and I couldn't go see family in Tennessee because I really wish I wasn't that dumb, but we play with the cards that we have. I finished The Daily Life of the Immortal King. I loved it. It's on Netflix. I highly recommend it. It's so funny. It's great. The end had a good bit of great, juicy romance. I loved it. So go give that a watch. Do it. Highly recommend it. And then I started watching Vivi Fluorite Eye's Song, which is really good, actually. When I wrote the script, I was only on like episode 2. Now I'm on like episode, I don't even know, pretty far. 7, I think. I'm pretty far. It's incredible. It is really, really, really good. I highly, highly recommend it. It's an action anime, drama anime. Amazing art and amazing animation. It is very, very good. I'm still loving the MacBook here. I've been writing on it. I've been writing my script on it, and I love moving around the OS and everything. Other than that, Quadeca released a deluxe version of From Me to You like a month ago, and I completely missed it. The 6 songs on there are really good. Go listen. And I also started listening to this guy called Maybe Mav, Maybemav. His album Lost in a Silent Night is really, really cool. It's like a Weeknd-esque sound. If you've ever listened to The Weeknd, which you probably have, it's super chill and pretty cool. Give it a try. Anyways, I hit my 20 minutes, but after I cut things down, this one will probably be a 19-minute episode, unless I have something to talk about, which I don't. Next week, I have no idea what we're going to talk about, but we'll talk about something. Hopefully I edit this. Today, I have to charge a bunch of stuff then, but we'll do our best, and then I probably need to take a thumbnail here, so I should probably do that before I hit the end record button, but yeah, I'll leave it there. Thank you for listening to this episode, or watching this episode of Seriously Funny. I will talk at you next week. Peace.